All right. Thanks, Sam, for taking the time to join me today, man. I'm grateful that you took the time to do this. So for the person watching this video, if you could just share your name, where you live at, and what your farm operation looks like.
I'm Sam Cunningham. I live in northeast Arkansas in Poinsett County, which is, I believe, still the #1 rice producing county in the United States. I have a wife, 2 boys, 10 and 8, and we have a rice and soybean operation. My part of the operation is around 2,500 acres. It's part of a bigger operation that's about 5,000 acres. And we grow probably 50 to 60% rice, and the rest would be soybeans. With that, I have three full-time employees personally, and really 4 full-time employees now. And that's mainly because of the rice side of the business.
Yeah. So to put it bluntly, you got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different moving parts, a lot of dollars going through and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll jump into just first question it's a pretty simple one. What was not working in life and business, okay, personal or business, prior to joining Legacy Farmer?
Mainly the balance. I was having a real hard time with balancing work and family. I was born the son of a workaholic, and he taught me the same thing. However, as much as I tried to distance myself sometimes, I just can't. My mind is on the farm all the time. Even when I took a hiatus from the farm after college, I was the same way there, so I can't really blame it on the farm. But I've always had that struggle with balancing out between spending time with my wife and kids and being on the farm or wanting to be on the farm instead. I mean, on vacations, I would get in trouble every time for being on the phone the whole time, dealing with minor issues most of the time on what was going on the farm, because I didn't have the team in place or the trust for the team that I had or the people that I had at the time. I wouldn't even call them a team at the time, to make those minor decisions. And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
That was part of it. The other big thing I struggled with and still do and want to get more focused on is I take everything extremely personal on my operation. It's I cannot let go of things. I have to look at everything every day, and all of my team is very qualified to do what they do. I don't have anybody out here. There's nobody that's a part of this team that doesn't want to be here, that doesn't feel the same way about the crops that I do, that doesn't want to be the best at what they do. And I have got to do better at letting that stuff go, a lot of the minute stuff go, and trusting more that they're doing what needs to be done, and focus more on the financial side of the business. The stuff that I know of, or I know more about than they do, the stuff that affects me more than them. But also where the profit lies is in the books.
Yep.
The margins are always slim in this business.
Yep.
And I've not done a real good job of, I've always done a decent job of making money on the operation, but I've never done a good job of doing my book work, keeping my accounting up to date, knowing where I stand in the middle of the year other than what's between my ears. And a lot of times I'm real bad about getting upset, very anxious at times during the year, thinking there's no way this is going to work. And this happens every year. And I'll finally have to sit down and kind of catch up on books and then catch up on my numbers. And most of the time it's like, well, we're okay. Where if I'd just continuously do it, then I would at least know where I was at, and I wouldn't have that anxiety about not knowing.
Yeah. 100%.
I may have anxiety about knowing that I'm not doing well.
Well, and it's just the awareness too, right? A lot of guys, they're operating blindly throughout the year, and they have no idea where they're at with the bank, what the position is. They have no idea where they're at in their books. And so they're just operating in fantasy land, and you won't make the right decisions when you don't have all the facts.
Yeah. And I have a big problem with that. I mean, I've done a lot of stupid shit, making purchases that I didn't need to make, on perceived problems that we may have. And when it all came down to it, it was, when I look back at it, it was like, well, that really wasn't a purchase that I made because of a fact. It was a purchase that I justified to myself because I wanted it.
Yep. Out of emotion.
And it's, you know, that's the bullshit that puts you out of business.
Yep. Yep. 100%. Well, so next question we have then is what changed for Sam since joining Legacy Farmer? Because you've been in for several months now, been on the coaching calls, been active and things like that. What's been the biggest thing that's changed for you?
Awareness. I see things a little differently, and this has been in a short time frame, but I see more things from an eagle eye view now. I have done better at delegating some things out and not checking behind on everything. The biggest thing I would think, though, is that you have relentlessly kicked my ass as far as not keeping up with my numbers, not keeping, you know, when you ask for something, saying, yeah, I'll get it to you, and then doing like I always do and say, yeah, I'll get it tomorrow, I'll get it tomorrow, I'll get it tomorrow. That's not that important today. I'll do it tomorrow. And you've made it very clear more than once that that's why I'm in the position that I'm in, worried about these things and haven't done it, is because I blow it off and put it off.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet. We're putting the systems in place. Still have a ways to go, but
It takes,
now I have a fire in me to get that done. I want it done.
Dude, it takes time too. Like with a lot of these guys, we're changing habits that have been built over decades and trying to shift how people are looking at their business and what they're doing and the actions they're taking, and delegating and focusing more on the numbers than going out and driving the tractor or changing tires like you guys are doing right now. And focusing more on working on the business rather than working in the business. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, out of everything we do inside of Legacy Farmer, you know, training programs, coaching calls, tools, systems, those types of things. What would you say your absolute favorite thing is about what we do?
Probably the support from people that understand. The tools are great. I haven't utilized them as much as I need to, and I'm getting better at it. But the coaching calls are very important. I always take away a lot of, I get a lot of peace every time I listen to a coaching call, and knowing that I'm not the only one dealing with bullshit. I'm not the only one dealing with family. Yep. I'm not the only one that's worried about feeding their family. I mean, everybody has these same concerns and issues, but we talk about the raw shit, the stuff that nobody else is bringing up, the stuff you don't hear your neighbor talking about at the coffee shop. That and the, you know, be able to talk. I've been several situations where somebody's posted something that really resonated with me, and I've had one-on-one conversations with them outside of the coaching calls. And, you know, sometimes maybe it benefits them, but it benefits me too. Those are the things you don't get anywhere else, because there is nothing else like this.
Yeah. And everybody, like, just like you making the phone call and building a relationship with somebody else in our network, dude, 99% of farmers are on an island by themselves and they have no outlet, nobody to talk to.
Yes.
Insight from. So, okay, good stuff, man. Well, last question I have for you is, man, so it's no secret, Sam, establishing trust inside of this industry is extremely difficult. I remember when you came in, you were kind of questioning, like, okay, is this legit? Is this going to happen? Things like that. So what's the one thing you would say to somebody that is sitting on the fence about joining Legacy Farmer?
Well, I'd say a lot of things, but you've invested, you know, in my situation, millions in my business, literally, blood, sweat, and tears, and years. Sacrificed a lot of things with family, and without any kind of certainty or direction. And if anybody is, you know, they feel like they're spinning their wheels, They're surviving, but they're struggling. There's imbalance in their life. That's what's been the best thing for me. It was well worth the investment, because now I have not only that network of guys that are dealing with the same stuff, but I also have you with your experience providing the tools that make all of the just the bullshit make sense. The stuff that we want to forget about or put off because we don't completely understand it. We may be, kind of have an idea of what the bank's looking for or what the accountant's looking for, but now we have the tools at our disposal because of you and because of the program you set up, that when I talk to my banker, it's kind of I have a different attitude now. There's not I'm going to bow down to him. Here's the facts. And same thing with the accountant. I don't really care what you wanted me to do for last year. This is what we're going to do for the long term.
And learning enough about each one of those areas of your business to be dangerous with it, so that when you walk into a room to have a conversation with your accountant or your banker, you still control the energy and the direction inside of that room.
Definitely.
Yep.
I even had a conversation with a lawyer 2 days ago for half a day with a bunch of family members, and it was interesting because I knew some stuff that he didn't quite know. And, he's supposed to be the smartest person in the room. And I'm not saying I'm smart, but because of the network that we've got here and the stuff I've learned from other guys, I knew something he was talking about just wasn't right.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for the network that we've got here, then I wouldn't have known that. Yep. And stopped, potentially a disastrous situation with my family because of that.
Yep. Okay. Well, man, thanks a lot for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
Now, I'm glad you asked me to do it.